right next to me is Harshad Nalawade, who's the director of The Follower. uh, Harshad is the director of The Follower. Just give me a second.
Just follow, not
Oh, no, no,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, just Follower. Harshad is the director of Follower. Then after that, we have Sreejith Karanavar, who is the director of Azmaka Falyetuka. Today Me, Tomorrow You. Then we have Shruti Smriti Sangalkoti, who is the director of Before Spring. And finally, we have Jaishankar Arya, who is the director of Shivamma. The first three of them are have films in the Focus South Asia section, and Jaishankar has a film in competition under South Asia. So before we move on to a conversation, maybe I'll just have all of you talk about your films, where it has been screened, what its journey has been so far, uh, any awards it has won, etc. If you could talk about that, so then we'll be placing all the films in context before we begin.
So is this working? Yeah. My name is Harshad Nalwade. My film is called Follower. The film is set in Belgaum, which is in North Karnataka, and it's about a radicalized journalist who believes that his community is being wronged and he needs to, fight for it. But his beliefs are actually based on propaganda of an extremist leader of the town. So that's what the film is about, and it had its world premiere at the International Film Festival of Rotterdam earlier this year, and then it went to a few other festivals like Off Camera Independent Film Festival in Krakow. It went to the New York Indian Film Festival where it won the Best Screenplay Award. And now we have our Asian premiere at the Geomami Mumbai Film Festival, which is something that we're really looking forward to.
Hello. Yeah. So my name is Sreejith. The film I'm with is called Aizmaka Falyatuka, which is a Konkani film. So the film has we had entered it in Film Bazaar, and that year it was chosen as the best project in the Film Bazaar that year. And after that, this is our premiere. I mean, this is the first time it's going out there, so it's been a very exciting experience for me because it's my first film. So to see it on the big screen, that in itself was a big award for me. So I'm really glad to be here, and hopefully we'll be able to move more with the film and go to other festivals and maybe even someday end up on some OTT platform or something. So yeah, that's.
Hi, I'm Shruti Smriti. My film is called Before Spring. It's an Assamese language film. It's my debut film. It's set in North Guwahati, the place called North Guwahati. It's my native village where I come from. And North Guwahati is just at the north bank of mighty river Brahmaputra. And I am exploring three characters and their snippets of life and how they come out of their struggles, challenges, and finally decide to move on, uh, like how the river flows. And these three characters and the slices of lives also come from my childhood observation. Yeah, so this is the world premiere of Before Spring, and I'm really glad that I could be part of Geomami, and really looking forward to learn and share knowledge. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jai Shankar, director of the film Shivamma. My film is about a government school chef who is introduced to nutritional product and she wants to pursue network marketing business. She thinks that it will help her in overcoming her poverty. So the film began, Shivamma began its journey in the film in Film Bazaar, like where it won the Work in Progress Lab Award. and it was world premiered in Busan International Film Festival, where it won the New Currents Award. And followed by that, the film has won 4 awards: Young Jury Award in Festival Three Continents, Nantes, uh, Best Director Award in Fajr International Film Festival, and Grand Prix Award in Zirkala International Film Festival, Russia. The the film is having its South Asian premiere in at Mami, and it is in South Asian film competition. Uh, yeah,
Super. Thank you all. So I thought we could have this conversation around independent filmmaking and practice, because we want to get to thinking of what does it mean for GeoMami to have a South Asia focus? What does it mean for GeoMami to set a hub in under Mami for filmmakers from all across South Asia? But before that, maybe we'll just look at what enables independent filmmaking in the present context. And one of the things that I've heard, at least from various filmmakers, is that it's friendships. They're constantly relying on friendships that have perhaps been made in film school, if they went to film school, or friendships that they have, or connections that they've made outside, right? Which suddenly opened up this possibility of making films, working on films, etc. So I thought we'll just get a sense of what your trajectories have been in relation to friendships and what friendships have enabled. Also, perhaps it might be a good opportunity for you to just also mention people who have been part of this journey with you in multiple ways, maybe as antagonists also, who knows, right? But it might be interesting to hear thoughts on that. We'll start with you, Sreejith, because you've had, as the senior most filmmaker here, so you've been here you've been working in the industry now for
Yeah, I passed out from SRFTI in 2005.
5.
So since then, I, when you come out of a technical school, after studying something, it's the same whether you're an engineer or a film student or any kind of skill-based activity. So film schools in India generally teach you a skill of sorts, like even the directors for that matter. So initially, when I came to the industry, I had no idea. I mean, nobody in far generations of mine had anything to do with art. So there was no ready-made path to take. I just landed up in Bombay and started doing whatever I could. So I did camera work, I did a lot of writing work, I did all sorts of things, and obviously slowly made a sort of friend circle. And I've been promising for last 15 years, so my friends are also now sort of kar le kuch yaar, make something, get out there. So that's how this film also came together. I mean, I was trying to write a more commercial and more star cast kind of film, but the things behind that activity takes so much time and it's very frustrating. So me and my friend Akshay, who was writing, we were writing another project, and we were writing like likhi rehte. It's almost a year we were working on a project. We had a good thing going, but we realized that it would take 2 or 3 more years to get anywhere with it realistically. So
It's,
out of
it's also
frustration.
visible in your film. This idea that it's a bunch of friends who have worked on it.
I mean, I can take that as a compliment. I can also get offended by that.
No. It's meant to be a compliment.
Yeah,
It is it's what
I'm
makes
just,
it
yeah,
come alive in some sense.
yeah,
You see the playfulness in the script,
yeah,
in the way that the characters emerge,
yeah,
their
yeah,
presence is felt.
yeah, yeah.
That and there's an intimacy. They're all invested in the story because yours. I mean, Srijit's film. Today Me Tomorrow You is an allegory. There is a way in which it's trying to understand contemporary politics
Yeah.
via a genre film. So it's trying to understand something about it. It seems to have a definite thesis about what is happening in Goa at least.
Yeah.
But it doesn't want to offer you neat answers. So
Yeah.
you get this sense of playfulness that from playful conversations from which a script like that emerges. So that's what I meant.
Yeah, no, no. I
Uh,
mean, I was just trying to
yeah.
be smart, lucky about it. So, the thing is that, like I said, we were writing a script over there, and the local people used to keep talking to us. I mean, we are friends with everybody, and in Goa, it's a small village, so everybody knows if somebody's staying in some place, everyone knows who they are. So, they were putting pressure on us, ki picture banao, kuch dikhao. So turned it like we turned our view towards them only, looked at them itself, the people who were like feeding us, giving us alcohol and taking us places. All the locations in the film, I mean, it's hard to find places like that. It's the locals who took us there, and even the stories involved inside it are organically developed. I mean, we ended up writing a lot. I mean, there were sheets of paper, like there was like we can make 4 5 films with that stuff. So, but at the end of the day, what is possible within the resources, with the people, and what we had was, like you said, the community, and that community, again, they were all friends with us. Like everyone knew everyone. So if I had a scene and I was talking to somebody, and he would say, I have a place behind my house, come there, we'll check it out. So those kind of things have also happened in every sense of the making of the film, from the beginning, from writing, from making it, and it was very difficult for the writer as well as for me, and also to produce, because uh, I mean, we were making things on and on and on, again and again, even till last week. We were trying to make changes to the film.
The film.
So,
There's also, could you also talk about, say, because you've had an association with experimental filmmakers, you've worked with a cinema movement that has been identified as the avant-garde, sort of the Indian
yeah,
avant-garde
yeah,
at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
So, and I get a sense that that also seems to be there in the film in terms of the kind of story that you're drawn to or what you want to do
Yeah,
with
so the thing is,
so what those connections have been.
yeah, so I mean, you're talking about I mean, I used to work with Kamal Swaroop.
Mm,
I mean, that's probably the only excuse I have to claim any kind of avant-garde credentials, because I am really not that avant-garde. But there is this sort of, I would say, a spirit which pushes you to create something that you yourself have not seen.
mm,
Like you write a story, you write one sentence and say, I want it to be this way. But that sentence can be a material thing. It could also be a very abstract kind of a thing where I want this sense to come out, but I don't know how it's going to come out. So, I mean, I guess I've heard people talk about the cinema of Prayog, where a process is more important than what's the eventual product. So, to that extent, some of that has seeped in. Also, I'm a huge, huge fan of Arvindan,
okay.
and I didn't know that till I started making this film. So while I was making the film, there were many times I was looking, and I felt that this is something that probably Arvindan would have done. So, I mean, I get goosebumps saying that. I mean, I probably wanted to say that to people at some point, because when you see the film, nobody has commented on that. So, I guess I'm commenting myself. So, yeah. So that's as far as the avant-garde thing goes. But it's more about, for us, it was more about being sincere to the land, being sincere to the people, and showing you that world. That's,
Okay.
I want you to go there. I want you to know those people. And probably it's almost like taking a snapshot. You know that this breed of people or this kind of animal is going to go extinct, and you take a picture. So our film kind of tries to do that, a snapshot of this life, which probably won't exist for too long.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on to you, Harshad. Do you want to talk about, as you didn't have formal training in film, but you did at some point, you decided to join a film
Yeah, it's
program
like a film appreciation.
course. Yeah. So what did that mean? So did you make connections there? Are those connections were
Uh,
they part of early short film projects, etc.?
yes, I mean that film school, if I can call it. Yes, I mean that did help somebody like me, because coming from a small town who's only exposed to Bollywood films, and but not in a bad way, because inspired by some of the films, like let's say Lagan. You see that film and then you're like, I also want to tell stories. So but the exposure is very limited. The only international filmmaker I knew before I went to a film school was Steven Spielberg. I didn't know anybody else. So once you go to the film school, and I mean, and it's equivalent. You don't really have to go to film school for that. Now you have internet, and you have, if you uh, but then the world opened. You see all these films, and then you're like, okay, films can be told like this. And you see 12 Angry Men, you're like, wow, I never imagined that a film can be, this kind of a film can be made.
Were there people that you were in conversation with during this time talking about
Yes,
these films?
yes, because so obviously I mean, it's a college. We made friends, and and those friends have lasted till now. The first friends that I made in college, we are the ones who made this film together, Follower.
Okay.
It's the same team. So that definitely helps because you grow up together. Talk about cinema and etc. And this sort of, there's a chemistry that you develop, and you do it for your first film. Now there are disadvantages and advantages to that, of course, because what is the advantages? Like with friends, you go to them with an idea, they'll say, "What nonsense is this?" And you'll go back, you'll rework, and you'll get a second meeting. You can still pitch it to them. You can't do that in an
With others,
industry.
yeah.
Yeah, like you go to a production house, pitch them a bad idea, you're not going to get a second meeting, right? So, so with friends, that's the advantage of, like you keep discussing things with them, you like better your idea, and that's how Follower also happened. It was an initial idea, and then it, like changed into things, and then it evolved basically. So that is the advantage. There are disadvantages, of course, like you can't, like there's no one to look at a film objectively, because ultimately film is a business medium also. Like you have to, if you make a film, you're not only going to see yourself in the living room, you have to put it out there for people to see it. So it should also, have the quality of, okay, will this talk to not a larger audience, but at least some audience. So I think that helps. But working with your friends, the relationship that you made in college, and it definitely has that. It just allows you to have that comfort zone. It allows you to know each other's weaknesses, strengths, and work as a team accordingly. So that's what helped us in Follower, I think.
Shruti, Smriti, you've also been making short films and documentary films before Spring. So when did you get into it? Again, uh, you're not formally trained in filmmaking,
Yeah.
if I understand correctly.
I'm not formally trained in filmmaking. I haven't been to any film school. Um, See, the place I come from is more into theater. And while in school, my father introduced me to a theater group, and I used to attend the plays and all, and I used to perform also. And growing up, during my masters, I joined FTII Film Appreciation course. Uh, that time, it opened up actually, and I started to assist a few people. Um, and then during that time only, I met my husband, and he's from film school. And the friendship you're talking about, so I found my friendship, in him. And he comes from down south. I come from northeast part of
He was
India,
a student at FTI?
and SRFTI.
SRFTI.
Yeah. And we started to explore Calcutta. I made my first documentary film there in Calcutta, and it was a short documentary film which went to Calcutta International Film Festival and IDSFK and all. And after that, I made one short film also. Then I really wanted to make my first feature. So, and my husband, he encouraged me to work on something that I'm comfortable with. And I also wanted to take up something that I'm comfortable with. And I always wanted to start with my personal story. And if you have noticed, my our production house name is Lap Queen Films. Lap Queen is the bird, yellow lap queen. So we decided, river birds are also lap queen birds, and in Tamil Nadu also lap queens are there. Assam also lap queens are there. So let's connect it. So that's how the friendship grows. And the way he explores North Guwahati, my village, uh, I could see a completely different landscape in his eyes because he's not from Assam. And yeah, and another friendship I want to talk about. I entirely shot my film in my village, the village people. How I come up with so many
Characters,
actors,
actors.
non-actors. Um, because when I was a small girl, I used to know them. I have lived with them, so they also came along and they helped me in the sense they are so um, uh, uh, they're so open about open to help someone who wants to make something which is culturally enriching. Yeah, so yeah, these are the friendship stories.
Yeah. Jaishankar, do you want to?
Yes. I'm not from a film school graduate. I'm an IT employee. I'm still working in a corporate firm. Uh, but I met all the HODs of my film in film festivals. So I met Vikas Aras and Shreyank Nanjappa, the sound engineer and DOP, here at Mami back in 2019. Um, and also a few other filmmakers, Natesh Hegde
You were
and
visiting as a delegate at
yeah,
okay.
delegate. So I am a regular delegate to Mami, and uh, I met few other filmmakers, like Kannada filmmakers from Bangalore Short Film Festival, and um, like there are three films this time here in like here in Mami, Kannada films, and we began our journey from there, and all three of us are here with our feature films,
Okay.
from short film to here, Mithya and Pedro.
Okay. Super.
And also, uh, before I had made any short film, I got introduced to this one filmmaker here at Mami in 2018 or 19, Lars von Trier. So I first watched his film in Infinity Mall Audi 3, the house that Jack built, and since then my perspective on films completely changed, and I started following his work, and I started observing his craft, and that is when I wanted to make that kind of treatment. I used that kind of treatment, and uh, for me, very exciting fact was my film was also screened like in the same venue where I got introduced to that filmmaker.
Super.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So one of the things that's coming that came up also, particularly in Sreejith and Shruti Smriti's conversation, was the idea of the place that where you were, and that's true of the the two of your films also. That be it Hubli, North Guwahati, Goa, Belgaum, right? There is you are from you have some connection to these places and or built some connection in these places, and communities over there have also been part of your filmmaking process. So do you want to just talk about what that has been like? What does it mean going to that to Belgaum or to North Guwahati and making films there? Any of you can start.
so
Yeah.
uh, I stay in Bangalore, but
Mm.
my hometown is in north side of Karnataka.
Okay.
Uh, that place was very dear for me because I used to visit there often for all the festivals during holidays since my childhood. Um there are not many films have been made using that dialect and the stories of that place. So I wrote the story in Bangalore, uh, and I decided to set the story in that place. So once I had the screenplay ready, I went there and I observed their culture and I got familiar to that place. And then I made them act. So the entire cast and crew, cast of my film are from the very village of my hometown.
Okay. And how did they participate? Was that an easy? Did they tell
Uh,
us some stories about how you got them to act?
yeah. Initially, when I said I'm making a film in your village, and they were like, "What is there in our village? Like you go to that place, there is a hill. You go to this place, there is a big temple." And they didn't know how beautiful their village and their small lanes, they were very delightful to see for foreign audience. And when it was the casting process and was was tough actually because they were not used to cinema at all. But once they saw themselves on the monitor, they got used to it, and they started enjoying acting for the camera. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, again, just a slight takeoff from what you were talking about. I feel that, I mean, if I'm making a film about Bombay, where I live, you know, I think there is enough and more of films on Bombay or even Delhi or Calcutta. I mean, there's city-centric films. That in itself is almost a genre now. So whenever somebody is trying to, I mean, at least for me, when I was trying to make, okay, my mainstream commercial film is not happening right now. So what do I do now? So the desire to create a new world, to create a universe, and and we were just sitting in the I mean, we were trying to do that while we were writing, but we were right now sitting in front of a place which no one has seen. Like, I mean, everybody knows about Goa, but nobody realizes this aspect. So when they see Aizmaka, they're like, okay, this is a Goa film. Matlab, I mean, like, Belgaum is quite close to where we were shooting it.
Correct.
And if I were to shoot in Belgaum, it could also be Goa. So there is there is a world, which we are not, we have started tapping into it. These guys, me, all of us have started tapping into that world, which instead of keeping it in that same spaces, like कि India Gate के सामने कुछ किया या Gateway of India dance किया या, you know, there is so much here, So I'm really excited as I see that not just older people, like younger people are also doing that. That's quite cool, And I hope that this is sort of turnaround for Indian cinema itself, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah, so that sense of space, like you're saying, is a significant factor, which is, I think it is later probably critics and all would talk about it, that this was the era when all these guys went back to their grandfather's village and started making
And
stories,
started making.
so which is quite cool.
Harshad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, right? I mean, we do talk about representation these days, no? Like it's important. Representation is important, and that comes with the cities and towns of this country also. Like we are trying to tell stories of the towns which you've not seen before, or of people who you've not met before. Like for me, telling a story of people from Belgaum was very important because I just wanted to show the interesting characteristics of our people, how we have, I mean, the conflict
The
of
language.
the
Mm.
Belgaum conflict is at the center of the story. But that's what I wanted to show, how we can seamlessly shift from speaking Marathi to Kannada to Dakhni to, like just we
Mm-hmm.
can seamlessly shift from
Sure.
all three languages and talk, and that too on a regular basis, and yet people there are divided on these very languages.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting for me to want to sort of focus that, and that's why I mean, having
So
people,
the other actors are also from there.
every
Everybody is
yeah,
from there.
everybody else, everyone in the film
Mm.
except for the girl who plays the lead
Harshad
character.
himself is the lead.
Yeah,
Is
I'm also playing one of the leads.
one of the leads
Yeah,
in
because
the
we
film.
had to save some money, so I didn't need to pay any other actor, so I played the lead. Uh, no, but for other reasons also. But but yeah, but except for the girl who played Parveen, she is from Bombay and she's from Hyderabad actually, but she
Okay.
works in Bombay.
Mm.
But otherwise, all of us were from Belgaum, and because I wanted people to have that the tone of speaking those languages.
Okay.
And it was one thing was like, because in the film, the lead character in the film is a Maharashtrian,
Mm.
and I am the second lead, and I play a Kannadiga.
Mm.
But in reality, he's a Kannadiga and I'm a
You're the
Maharashtrian.
Maharashtrian.
So so that was also an interesting way to uh, just tell the story.
Shruti, Smriti. I know for you, you've already talked about how it
Yeah.
is that place, and could you talk about what that process was about, say, getting actors involved in the film,
Mhm.
most of them were non-actors.
Yeah, the main actors are professional actors only. Monikanto,
Mm.
Majuni, and Junmani.
Okay.
But Majuni and Junmani, they are very new
Mm.
to cinema. Like, but Monikanto, he is a theater activist. So for me, I wanted to take the lead actors little professional only. Um, the rest of the actors I wanted to take from my village, which eventually happened also. And I got a lot of support from my family members. My family members, like both my maternal and paternal, sides are from North Guwahati, and we camped there at their place, and we just, you know, we just need to tell them like, okay, please come. We are shooting something, and you just be part of it. So for me, it was not a very difficult task to finalize the actors. But yeah, but I wanted to wanted them to look like the character. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and as I told you, I am from the place when I wanted to shoot the river more and the boat service, the boat and ferries more. But when I shot there, boat and river, boat service was not there.
Okay.
Yeah. And but during that time, what happened? Somebody came up and they arranged a boat. That boat you can see in the film, and they helped me with that also. And
So it doesn't
at this
exist anymore.
it doesn't exist anymore right
okay.
now. Right now they're constructing bridge from south
Guwahati
Guwahati to North Guwahati. So at this time the landscape will be completely different. Yeah.
So the ferry no longer
Yeah.
exists.
No
Okay.
longer.
Okay. Okay. So this conversation about place, friendship, perhaps is a good way to shift to one of the things that is in focus in at Mami, which is the South Asia. The idea of having Mami as a South Asia hub, right? As a place perhaps where filmmakers from across South Asia can build friendships, build connections, uh, use each other's experience, skills, etc., build relations via co-productions, uh, and any number of exchanges that can happen that is being imagined. Uh, would you say there are some steps that are needed before that? Like, for instance, just the fact that perhaps many of you, except for, say, the two of you who've seen each other's films, many of you also haven't been able to see each other's film. Is that something that you think is important, that filmmakers should definitely have access to their peers' work, and it should be in a more institutional way, that there should be an institution that makes peers' work available to for all of you to see. So things like that. So what would you imagine is the groundwork uh, for imagining or for laying out this South Asia hub?
I was just, as you were talking, I have a lot to say about stuff like this, because for the last so many years, I used to work in sort of commercial, or, I worked on films like Slumdog Millionaire and Delhi Belly and things like that. So I've been working like that to survive. I'm making reasonable money like that. But later on, I got serious about making films, and film schools. When you get out, everybody expects you to have a film. It's like you're married and you don't have a child, and there's this stigma around you. Ki, "Arey, kya ho gaya?" So the same things with film school guys. Ki, what is wrong with him? Why is he not making film? So that's when I started getting into it, and in that process, I have survived the last whatever so many years purely because of that spirit of the independent filmmaker. So I worked as an editor, as a cinematographer, sometimes as a writer, as designer for independent films, and I've been doing that for last few years, and uh, definitely needs a definitely needs some kind of platform or some kind of support of some sort if somebody is able to provide that. Like there are festival programmers, and there are I don't know what to call those people who coordinate festivals and who keep communication with the filmmakers, write articles about them, discuss these things like academic cinema, or what I would like to call sort of academic cinema only. When you're trying different things, and that needs support, and that needs a critique, and that needs discussion.
True. I mean, we are talking about largely independent films
Yeah.
because, I mean, that way Bombay is already the hub, right? Not just South Asia. There is a way in which filmmakers are coming here for particular kinds of post-production work, etc. That's already happening. But for independent cinema, and also to build this relationship amongst peers, because you're also looking for more than just technical support. Sometimes you're also looking for people to watch your films, to give comments, to perhaps you're stuck somewhere and you want solutions, and solutions that are not going to come from perhaps the mainstream industry, but you want those solutions to come from people who are working like you on the fly, uh, figuring things out, etc. So anyone else wants to add to this, Harshad or Jesh?
Yes. So, since I'm not from a film school background, meeting a person who has studied films and whose film has already traveled to many places, uh, like the knowledge or she shares with us will definitely help for our next film. For example, if I met a producer called Jeremy, and he shared where all I can apply my film, like the film script to my next film too. So these kind of informations coming from other filmmakers or other film producers, it is happening intimately in the filmmakers launch, so where it is exclusively for filmmakers like us, and that is very beneficial.
Okay. So that you're saying there are those spaces, but it needs to perhaps just include a larger set of
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
That's
it is happening.
it is happening, right? Yeah.
I just wanted to add one more thing is that the state Indian government used to fund a lot of feature films, So today we talk about Sham Benegal, we talk about Money Call, we talk about Kumar Shani, Kamal Swoop. I mean, I can just keep listing
Yeah,
like
all of
there's
them
at
were
least
funded.
40, 50 filmmakers who I can say are really good filmmakers, and they have only existed because of NFTC.
Absolutely.
So what we have today as a parallel cinema is that now if you take any domain of operation, whether it be art or any science or anything, you need to have one end where there's a research and development happening, where people are finding newer things. So that used to happen because of the government. Now, since the government has pulled that back, now there is a whole. I mean, if nothing is done about it, then we will sort of break down into this drivel. It will become really nasty after a few years because there is nothing that is nothing new, nothing interesting, or path breaking, or
Or if nothing else, nothing that gives you a strong sense of the history of image making practice in the country and what that has been. And so, as somebody or an institution that allows any filmmaker entering this space to get a sense of that history, to be able to learn if they're interested to watch films. It could just be a space, and which is what NFDC made possible. And I think with the Film Bazaar, it still kept that going for the longest time. Shruti, do you want to?
Uh, so I want to start with my place only, Assam. We don't have cinema culture as such. We all are independent filmmakers only.
But Assam, I mean, that way, when I
Yeah.
think of Assam, it has always had this uh,
Yes.
independent film
Yeah,
making.
1935 only Jyoti Prasad Agarwala made the first Assamese film. But now we can see more of independent filmmakers coming out of Assam. I can take Rimada's
Rimadas,
example.
absolutely.
Um, uh, in that case, government should also, as Srijit
Srijit sir.
mentioned, government should also take up some kind of initiative. We don't have a state, like Guwahati International Film Festival used to happen, but they have stopped it now. We want such kind of film festivals happening in Guwahati as well, so that people from cinema gears from Guwahati can meet and exchange knowledge. And coming to Mami, like it's a great hub for filmmakers like us, and they have given us so many scopes to interact, and and it's adding value to independent filmmakers' journey. We can see some kind of hope. Okay, our films are featured here. We get that, uh, you know, um, confidence, and we can go ahead. Yeah.
Harshad, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I just would like to add something short. I think the two things in your question, one was about watching each other's films in a space like this. So I think that is really important because honestly, you need to feel a little jealous. Jealousy is important. I need to, if I see Shivama, I need to feel jealous and like, okay, I want to do some. I need that drive to go on to make another film, and so it's really important for me to go watch like Mithya or Sthar and like get a little jealous, but in a healthy way, and be inspired and drive myself to make other films. So that's really important. So this having this hub of like South Asian filmmakers come together and mainly focusing on that and having us watch each other's film is really important in that way. And the second thing that I wanted to just add a little bit was, it's really important how Geomami has placed itself, this year by adding this thing, Focus South Asia, in its title. So that just changes the image a bit. It becomes sort of obviously very, obviously focus on the South Asian cinema because the name has it. It's been you see it, you read it everywhere. So definitely the attention then shifts from world cinema to South Asia also. Earlier it was probably just world cinema, and Indian films also get recognized, but now it is in the title. Um, and South Asia. But the thing is, now it's South Asia, so it has films from India and also other countries around, India. So, how good, how great an idea that is, only time will tell. Because will the Indian independent cinema, which was already in the dark, will still remain in the dark because it's been clubbed with other countries also, or will it come, forward?
Yeah.
So, only time will tell.
True. Or will it, as in one of the other fears, of course, is that it'll replicate some of the hierarchies that already exist, regional hierarchies that, or national hierarchies that exist already. Will it replicate that? Will say again, will filmmaking as a process, at least independent filmmaking, organize itself in some way that replicates this hierarchy? But unlikely, because most of these nations, at least the few that are showing here, at least Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc., have a rich tradition of filmmaking. Yeah, unfortunately, I think there was very few submissions this year from Afghanistan. So they did seek out. There was two films that are playing and a few shorts that are playing. Bhutan again has a good representation in the festival, so that's been good. Anything else that you would like to add about the South Asia idea? One of the things that I thought I could also ask you to think about perhaps is film journalism as also a way in which this conversation can happen, right? So a conversation that might be outside of some physical space, but nevertheless connecting also to Sreejith's idea of tapping into image history making practice. Whereas if journalism is limited to short reviews, Instagram posts, tweetable reviews, etc., then we lose that say a more rigorous idea of, okay, how do I understand these images in this time? Where is it coming from? What is the trajectory of these images? Do you think something like journalism also needs to be supported, film journalism particularly, to strengthen? Like, for instance, what has your relationship been to film journalism? Like, do you go read reviews? Who is the reviewer you're seeking? Do you find it easy to access reviews that you're happy with, that give you a sense of the film, which is just not telling you the story, but also about saying something about the craft, the image?
Yes, that's really important. I whenever I go read any review, I hardly do actually. I would probably want to watch the film first and then go read about it. But whenever I do read reviews, I mean, some of them, yeah, I mean, great reviewers who talk about the subject of the film, the craft of the film, the characters, the story, and get in depth into the this thing. But some of the film journalism or reviews would just focus on the subject of the film. Now that's a little unfair because you know anyone can just pick a very topical subject and make a film. But what if but the film is bad and like it's not good? It's not good craft. It's not the characters are not layered and the story is not layered. But the film gets good reviews because it's just on a particular subject. So that should not happen. It should be an overall critique of a film because I mean ultimately it is a audio visual medium, so it's really important how you use audio and visual to craft a story.
Uh, I mean, the nowadays a lot of things have changed. Like, I mean, when I was younger and I was before I went to film school, I was like these guys. I used to go to every festival, hang out. Hang on to the words of seniors. And if you catch somebody, some avant-garde filmmaker who you just read about in some newspaper and you see him, that makes your day that day. So it was a different whole environment at that time. Things were not accessible. Now you go online, you tell me what film you want, whether it be a commercial, Bollywood or Tamil or Kannada or whatever. Any film you say, I can get it for you. So, I mean, I meaning anyone can get it for themselves. So it's all available out there. You just have to be a little too clever about it. So that's the scenario we are in, and nobody reads. Nobody reads. There's no newspapers now. I mean, we,
I think filmmakers do still. I mean, you're still looking at mostly international reviews, right? Connected to, say, for
no,
instance, yeah.
like just like films, like earlier Sight and Sound magazine used to come to Kochi in one store, and we would be like struggling throughout the couple of months knowing that it's going to come out and it's got a Godard special and stuff. So that was how the world was then. But now that has shifted to another space. Like if you go online, you will find really random ass guys doing really stupid ass reviews, which you watch because it's fun also. I mean, I watch all of that stuff. You get to know what the people's mood is, what kind of films are running and all that. But there are also extremely serious guys who make video essays who take a couple of months to say something in their text. So that's a different medium. It's not like film criticism as we know it. So there is new kind of film criticism also. I mean,
Who are also making films like Kongonada, who used to do these video essays, made his film at some point. Yeah.
that's what. There's so much stuff happening like that. Right now, it has become in Kerala at least, it has become a major issue. What has happened is that bloggers are releasing reviews of films, and sometimes they trash the film, just for the fun of it, just to say bad things about something. So it's like to create cringe value, and those videos become hits, and then people don't watch the film. So the producers are now complaining that something has to be done about the bloggers because they are sabotaging our business. And so just that situation, no, it highlights the condition. So when you're talking about film journalism, first of all, then you have to talk about journalism, because journalism itself, who reads a newspaper? Whatever you get to know, from WhatsApp or Instagram or Reels or something like that. So that is the currency of the time. So instead of being like foggy people saying that, oh no, these guys are so uncool, instead we should try to be as cool as them and put in, even if it is just 1 minute, make a kick-ass 1 minute which has a lot of value and depth. you know so I mean, again,
But
this
yeah, some investment in that process, that it can't be left to individuals. That was the question. Like institutionally, some support for it. Of course, the individual energies are what sustains some of the learning that we
Yeah, but the decentralization of these things is so
also.
heavy that I don't know how possible it is for an agency or even Mami or NFTC or
To
anybody to
support.
to have any impact over there. It's a vast ocean. Like, I mean, some guy sitting somewhere in Indore will be putting up so much stuff that nobody can compete with him.
When we talk about film journalism, through journalism, you one spreads the news. To know about cinema, we also have to see the entire cultural and political and social and economical side of the states. If I talk about India, so in Assam, again I'm going back to my state only. In Assam, we do have film journalism magazines, but they're very few. They mostly write about theaters and other and books. But if it is institutionalized, like you mentioned, like Mami
Some
has
kind of
more,
institutional support. It can
yeah,
still be individuals doing it, but it's just that an institution that recognizes a particular or was giving value to a certain kind of individual effort that's trying to review films, giving a strong sense of history, a strong sense of craft, etc., and are approaching films with all these ideas.
so I think first of all we need to educate the common people um, about to watch cinema. So educating is very important, but that hardly happens. I don't know, like nowadays in social media time, most of the people they follow like social medias only to know about the film reviews and all.
But yeah,
Yeah,
as Sreejith was saying, even there are people who are doing amazing
we are
work,
doing amazing work.
who are
Yeah,
offering
most of the time
insights.
we get confused.
Yeah,
It's so
that's true.
much overloaded.
That's
That's
also,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Shankar, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, quickly. So sometimes we take 2 to 3 years to make a film, and once the film is ready, once the film is ready, like we forget um, like what was our original intention, and like that will get translated or diluted over the period, and one and sometimes there will be less interaction with the audiences, and in few releases we won't be knowing how they reacted or not. So starting from the audience social media post or their Instagram status, to some critics writing about our film, that those kind of writings and those kind of it might be the texts or it might be the videos, so that will help us reflect on what we have created and how it is being received. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I think this was lovely. So we have Jai Shankar Arya, Shruti Smriti, Changkakoti, Sreejith Karanavar, and Harshad Nalawade with us. Four filmmakers. I think many of their films are playing over the next 3 days. Please catch it if you can. Thank you.